Google Translate pronunciation practice.
I am.
It's kind of funny, like when I say it wrong, a different word will pop up. Like, oh, that's an interesting word.
I was close. Yeah.
There's just certain ones that I struggle with, and it's not all the vowels either. Like some of the consonant sounds trip me up.
Yeah. 我常常是亚洲零食
Asian snakes.
No. 我常 that's not what I meant then. 超市
Oh, Asian
我
soup.
常常是亚洲超市
Frequently go to the Asian supermarket.
Hello. Good evening. Wo chong chong mai megwo hambao bao.
I frequently buy American hamburgers. Hashi wo de lao gong.
What was it? Say it again.
Tashi wo de lao gong.
True. Ta shi wo de lao po. Dway. My friend took a gas station edible and had a bad experience. I thought I'd let you know.
Fuck is a gas station edible, bro?
I don't even want to know, bro. That sounds like some whack ass shit that y'all have outside of California. There's nothing I can do for you there.
Yeah. Alright, I'm sure we have shady gas station edibles around somewhere.
Maybe.
You wanna go inside Chili Willy's? Chili Willy.
Oh, watch out for that title. You'll get whipped.
It'll take a long time for that flag to come back.
Yep. Bro, that Kamala speech is unbelievable. I just listened to, she did like a town hall thing on C-SPAN today. And she gave an answer that's like over 3 minutes long. And I swear to God, she doesn't say one thing in it. It's not that she doesn't say one thing. What is it? It's like you said, it's like she's giving a eulogy or something when she talks about America. She's like, America is about strength. Strength in that we endure, and strength in that we do not endure in the memory of the negative that has happened, but choose forthrightly to look forward to the positive. And that is how we stand upon the shoulders of giants. It's like somebody needs to pull her aside and tell her she's not Dr. King.
Or she just needs to get a new speechwriter.
Yeah, somebody desperately needs to let her know. Or yeah, the speechwriter needs to stop like using her, trying to use her like Dr. King. She does not have the she's, you know what it is? I think she's trying to do that Obama improbable hope thing. We are a nation of improbable hope, and we can remake the world again. That big Berlin speech that he gave. She ain't got that in her, bro.
Her voice is too strained. Or would you say a different word than strained?
Strained is, yeah, it's tough, right? Because, like, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about the way that she talks that is just utterly repellent. I will vote for them just for the fact that Tim called Elon Musk a dipshit. Wow. Electoralism has truly reached a new level. Him called guy I don't like dipshit. Him get vote. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I guess everybody's got their fucking standards.
Like you said, it's all vibes.
It
at
is.
This point.
It is. It's 100% the vibes election. Bad vibes on Trump. But
whose vibes shall win?
Tim Kaine's got pretty good vibes, so I guess I'll vibe with Tim.
Tim Kaine, you're going back too far.
Oh, so well, I'm sorry, I'm just
nondescript white guy.
I'm thinking of the other Tim, the other Tim VP nondescript white guy that lost. Yeah, that guy.
Maybe she would have picked the Pennsylvania governor if his name was Tim.
Maybe.
I'm saying she is gonna kick herself till kingdom come for not picking that Pennsylvania governor if she loses Pennsylvania.
I guarantee you they're kicking it. They're doing it right now because she's basically, like, campaign-wise, she's just been living in Pennsylvania for the last 2 weeks.
And if she had picked him, it'd be just a little bit easier.
She could have spent more time in North Carolina, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, any of these other fucking swing states she needs to be up in. She could have been around more.
Yeah, I thought for sure. I think the Pennsylvania governor thought for sure too that he was going to be picked. Canceled all his fucking Hamptons fucking fundraisers and shit.
Paul, we used to work together at the school district. Cool. What's your name? What schools did you handle? I'm going to go ahead and say that that's probably bullshit. But if it isn't, hello. I love your videos, bro. Should you ban them after they answer? If they don't have a satisfactory answer, they wasted my time and they should be banned, yeah. So.
Can't have faith in these chats.
No. You do any cool tricks? Yeah. Thumb out, pinky out, switch them. Back and forth. You can't do this, by the way. Nobody in this room can do what I'm doing right now. It requires an immense amount of practice to get this right. There you go.
Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah. You can't do it. Paul, what would you say to someone you cared about who was starting to buy into misinformation and conspiracy theories? What would I say to them? Hey, you're starting to buy into retarded shit. If I love and care about you, I'm not going to pull punches or try and find ways around your psychology. I'll just tell you what I see, right? Your slip is hanging. You're starting to sound retarded. It's harder than it actually looks. I know. Trust me, I know.
Can you do any other weird body things? Like you wiggle your ears?
Mm-mm.
No. Can't do the weird tongue clover thing?
Nope. Can't make a tongue taco. Can't do anything, really. No wiggly ears. Nope. Only the fingers. I just tried the finger thing, and it's def something that takes practice. Deliberate practice, too. The way it was explained to me is it's like a movement that your body never has to do. Think about this. Like, there's not a single situation in life in which you're going to need to do this, right? Like, mechanically speaking, or survival wise, like.
Well, I think it's like different nerves that control the pinky and thumb too, and that makes it hard.
It is, right. And so getting this down is like, it's one thing to be able to go like, okay, and then, right? Like some of you probably trying it going like, all right, I did that one. Okay. No, it's the smoothness of it, going back and forth between the two, switch, 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 switch. While you're talking, fucking give it up. May as well just give it up. I've been practicing it since I was in 6th grade, is when I learned it. 7th grade, something like that. So I got a lot of years. Hand independence for a pianist, yes. It's based on the kind of same thing, where you're learning to simultaneously but independently control your hand nerves in different configurations. Is this where the gays are? Yep, you're home. You found your way. Now pull down your pants and bend over. Yeah, hi, sweet pea, Jane Orr. Looking all sexy over there. Yeah, I would just type LOL too if I were you. There really ain't a whole lot you're gonna come back from that, right? So just I was in on the joke all along. Lowercase LOL will do. I was kinda in on the joke, LOL. Maybe. No. Paul, I have a weird question. How much stronger is today's weed compared to weed you smoked in the 90s? Quite a bit. See, I'm from Cali, so I used to get frosty ass indoor back in the 90s, but it was harder to find. Most of what you had was outdoor, and most of what you got of outdoor was improperly sorted. So it's like you'd get seeds in your weed. It wasn't like every sack of weed had seeds, and we didn't really know it back then. But if you get seeds in your weed, it's a sign that your weed is not anywhere near as potent as it could be.
So you're supposed to keep the male and female separate, so it gets all like horny.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta be horny weed.
It's gotta be horny weed, yeah. If it's allowed to germinate and other plants and stuff, right, then it stops expressing the sexual characteristic of trichomes. And if you put them under a microscope too, they look like a little dick. They literally like are a stalk with a bulb on top. And those, like weed, if it cannot pollinate and germinate, right? Female weed plants, if they don't get the male counterpart, they will create those trichomes endlessly, like more. It's like
more surface area.
Yep, get stinkier, get danker, get more surface area covered by that stickiness. And that's what makes weed good. That's what, like, top shelf weed is weed that no male plants are allowed near the females. and the females were kept in absolutely environmentally perfect conditions to express the maximum amount of THC. That just wasn't really happening on the scale that it needed to for you to get dank weed, all like this type of weed all the time back in the day.
And also, they've been doing so much fucking hybridization and shit since then. Like you said, like the base strains are just like kind of lost to time. A lot of them.
A lot of them just functionally like don't exist. Like, I've heard that even the ones that do exist are adulterated. It's like, if you get Blue Dream, you're probably not getting Blue Dream from 10 years ago. You're probably getting Blue Dream mixed with a few other things.
So they're just not holding on to the base strain seeds or whatever.
It doesn't seem that way. I would think they would, but it doesn't seem like that's all that important to them.
It wasn't like the most scientific enterprise at first.
No. So yeah, man, back in the 90s, you would pretty routinely get seedy weed. Doesn't mean it's necessarily like, in comparison to the other weed and stuff, doesn't mean it was necessarily horribly bad weed. You still get stoned off of it. It was really good. But
it's not frosty, horny weed.
Mm-mm.
That frost is need.
Yeah.
It's need for the seed.
Unrequited sexual need. Yep.
I'm shocked they haven't made a strain called that yet. Need for seed.
Yeah. The horniest weed.
I think need for seed is better.
Those classics are called landrace strains, and their genetics are likely lost to time. Yeah. And there were some really, like, good genetics that I haven't seen in, like, close to 10 years. Like, Bubba Kush was a really good one. And then there was a hybrid of Bubba that was really good called Platinum Bubba that were really both really good. I haven't seen that strain since probably like 2014, something like that. Durban Poison is another really amazing strain. I think somebody said that with genetics that from South Africa. Can't find it anymore.
And wasn't it like part of that biscotti one?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're not extinct necessarily. They're just, you know, they've been woven into the new strains, right? It's sad because I think the end result is going to be more homogeneous weed. Like, you mixing and matching so much that everything's going to have a little bit of everything eventually, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me...
But you definitely don't want monoculture, because then that makes it vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, bananas basically going extinct for a while because of a little blight or whatever.
Yeah, I had Durban Poison in Washington when I lived there, and it's up in the air whether it was pure Durban Poison or just a derivative, but you don't even see it being, you know...
Like it was like a second down the tree when we looked up that strain.
Yeah, you don't even see it being marketed anymore. But it like Nick said, it is as close to a pure sativa as you can get. It is a super mentally up strain. Like, if you're the type of person like me that you need to be yakking, oh my god, dude, it's the yakkiest strain that you'll ever get. But it just doesn't exist anymore, right? I'm trying to think of some other ones. Platinum Bubba.
Well, what's the opposite of Durban Poison? What's the most indica?
Perp.
Perp.
Yep, Granddaddy Perp. Granddaddy Perp is about as close to a pure indica as you can get, and I'm talking about old school perp, not the shit. I'm telling you, for the last 10, 15 years, I've had Granddaddy Perp maybe, 10 or 20 times, and I don't think I've actually had Granddaddy Perp once. Granddaddy Perp from 10, 15 years ago was purple. Legitimately purple in color. Dark purple. Like it's stained.
Like a filter.
Like, yeah, stained with grape juice kind of purple. And you just don't see that ever anymore. You know, and that's sad because, like, for me, the pure unadulterated sativas and the pure unadulterated indicas are the ones that I end up enjoying smoking the most.
Yeah, you like picking your mood or whatever.
Well, because when you're talking about genetically distinct weeds, when you're talking about a pure sativa as close as you can get, and a pure indica as close as you can get, the high is undeniably different. It is an undeniably different experience smoking a super high-end sativa and a super high-end indica. Like right now, I'm smoking a high-end indica hybrid, indica dominant hybrid, right? And that's really like what most things are going to be in 10 years. It's going to be sativa dominant or indica dominant. You're not going to be able to find pure sativas and indicas anymore.
Except maybe in like edibles or something where they're fucking separated or whatever.
I mean, if there is significant flecks of purple in your indica dominant hybrid, chances are that's a Granddaddy Perp, you know, child. How much does this high-end stuff run you?
I'd say the most you paid for an O was probably like 400 that one time when you got ripped off at that one dispensary.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the like high-end stuff, you want to get really top shelf Cali, you're probably going to pay something like 300 and O, 320 and O, something like that. And we're talking like, that should be like top shelf. You can get an O for way cheaper than that if you're
mid-shelf.
Right. Willing to step down the mids.
It depends where you live too, because like 25% is tacked on top with taxes.
Yeah.
Because they do local and state. But yeah, if you're just visiting, most people aren't going to go through an O anyway.
No. No. That's kind of like the sad thing about the weed market as it stands right now is so
it's
much
like
of it.
travel size.
Yeah, so much of it is, oh, you want some pre-rolls? Well, here's a pack of 2. It's like, you're going to be here for a week in California and you want to get high a couple of times? Here's 3 joints. You know, it's like, bruh.
You done ate up the whole area's selection of like big packs of pre-rolls. They're just gone.
Yeah, I know. I smoked them all.
And them 20 packs. You just can't get them no more.
Ugh. You ate it all, too. Man, you really want my attention, don't you? You got it. What you got? Give me some weight loss advice, bud.
But I think you're right that, like, just, like, sales numbers wise, they probably sell way more of the little packs and the big packs. That's why they focus on it more.
Yeah. I've always thought about something. The people that like come into these live streams, particularly to tell people how fat they are, I wonder how many of those people are they themselves fat?
Yeah. At least former fatties.
I think current fatties will do it to make themselves feel better. I get the feeling like if I could see stats on everybody that's ever called me a fatty, fat online, right? I'd be willing to bet that half of them themselves were fat.
Well, I mean, you feel that a little bit too. You had that phase where you were watching 600-Pound Life to feel better.
Yeah. I know the feels, bro. I know the feels. Look at this big fat fuck sitting here. You ate the whole world, didn't you? You know, and it's a fucking like 800-pound dude just sitting there. Look at this guy. I can't stop thinking about animals. You know what I think is sad? When people get fat enough that you can hear the fat. Like right now, I think that like if you didn't know me from Adam and you were just listening to my voice, I think you'd probably be 50-50 on whether or not I was fat, which is how it should be, right? But when you start getting so fat that your fat is impinging on your voice, bro. Hey, everybody. You can start to hear the fat. Por fin.
Dude, I don't know why, but that reminded me of fucking Steve, the down south Steve. Like how he sounds nothing like he looks.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Steve has got a voice like he should be a big, giant dude. In my mind. And it's not that he's a small guy. It's just he doesn't cut the same jib as his voice does.
Yeah.
I like the direction you're going with less news post-election. Cool. Yeah, I'm not saying that we're not going to cover news or there's going to be some immediate, like, but like in my personal approach going forward, I'm going to be, like I'm taking the Carlin fucking tack. I really am. I all those years ago, TJ and I had kind of a back and forth on YouTube about looking at the world like George Carlin. He was for it. I was against it. I thought that George Carlin probably used his I don't vote, I don't give a fuck thing to mask a large amount of care for people and a large amount of concern for how things were. But I guess as I've gotten older, I don't think that's necessarily wrong. Like, having a position like that based on trying to shield yourself from the absurdity of the world is not necessarily a bad thing. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Dude, your eyes are crazy, bro. I know.
You want to go show the people your eyes? Go see Daddy.
Come here. Come over here. Get all the way up here. Show those people those peepers. Those eyes are crazy to look into, dude. When he looks at you with those eyes, it's like, what do you even do?
Yeah. He won't make eye contact with the camera, unfortunately. He's a little camera shy.
If I had a snack and I was like this. Yeah, big boy. Yeah, sweet boy. Yeah, he can only make eye contact with one eyeball at a time. But that's the thing, is it's not like looking into somebody's eyes. You can tell he's looking at you, but it doesn't, it's just intense. It's just...
It's like he's trying to make full eye contact.
Yeah. Nice sweater. Yeah, I know. Everybody thinks he's a little girl when we take him out because we dress him in pink. But he looks so cute in pink.
Yeah. And he don't care. He
don't care.
He don't have no issue with the pronouns. You don't even know what a pronoun is.
Sometimes I correct people, but most of the time I don't bother.
I correct the vet because it's kind of important that they know.
Well, I have a feeling they're gonna find out. Eventually. His wiener is on display there.
With cats, you have to really, because their wieners are so itty.
They're in there. You gotta like do things to a cat to know whether it's a boy or a girl, especially if it's fixed as a boy. You gotta be squeezing shit and maneuvering shit to see what's in there.
And their kittens, it's like a whole fucking thing. You gotta like look at the shape of their butthole or whatever.
Yeah, there's like it's almost impossible to do it at a certain like a couple weeks old or whatever. Like it's basically like your guess is as good as mine, dude.
How far the dots are away from each other.
Yeah, it's like I don't even fucking. Yeah, I'm not the butthole whisperer. Woke dinosaur. Yeah, he is. He's woke as fuck, dude. No, he's just stylish.
Yeah.
Glock tuck big T-shirt Billie Eilish.
We need to get you another sweater exactly like that. You have other sweaters, but none of them fit you as well as that one does.
That one I think was purchased by my ex from like Etsy.
Yeah.
So I think you're probably gonna have to go some route like that.
The hard thing too is like I'm sure it's stretched with him, so it's whatever size that is probably isn't his actual size.
It seems like that's all. Like it's a pretty decent little sweater. Like you can tell it's not like cheaply manufactured.
Yeah.
And it's always fit him pretty much like this. I don't know if it really stretched much. It's a serendipity sweater.
Yeah.
It just happens to be pretty close to perfect for him, size-wise.
Well, just shape-wise, too. Like, it's hard to find a good cut sweater that fits his weird-shaped body.
Mm-hmm. This old dude at a bar told me to stop being woke because I told him he could not put his hand on the servers. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm with him on that. That is kind of woke. You're supposed to be able to slap a little butt when they walk by, you know what I mean? They like it. It encourages them. There you go, doll. Yeah, I mean, come
on. There are like 50 words used in politics that I bet 90% of people using them couldn't define to save their life.
Yeah. Woke is at the top of the heap right now. I loved that. What was that chick? She runs some right-wing account, Libs of TikTok chick. Mm-hmm. Where somebody was like, can you define woke? And she her brain went, and what woke is when and then she like tried to throw it to somebody else. Do you want to do that? Do you want to take this one? It's like, oh, don't you spend most of your time ringing the alarm bells about wokeness and you can't even tell me what it is?
The pronouns one is really sad. I don't know what fucking happened to the school curriculum that like a whole 2 generations of people don't know what a pronoun is.
Yeah, I know. I don't use pronouns. Okay, so you're not
a you.
Sir, you're not a you. You're not a sir. It's like, okay. You're not a him.
They need to fucking... But then the thing is, if they start focusing on it more, then they'd be like, oh, woke. They're teaching pronouns.
Yeah. It's like,
Dude, are they gonna have to rename pronouns just to fucking...
I don't have pronouns. It's like you don't?
Oxford English Dictionary is like, these are called something else.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to be called something else. Woke nouns. Yeah, pronouns are for snowflakes. Yeah. So if I were to say, like, you know, trying to tell somebody I'm going to go over to your house, what would I say? I'm going to go over to his house, right? Is what I would normally say.
I go house friend.
I go friend house. Wouldn't friend be the pronoun there though? No.
No,
that's just the noun. So yeah, you just got to completely cut the pronoun. I go friend house.
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't make it full caveman like that, but for effect.
Yeah. I am going to friend's house. Caveman talk, yeah. Unga bunga, dude.
Tell me about your friend. Friend is friend.
Yeah, friend is friend. Oh, yeah?
Could you describe your friend?
Yes. Friend have body. Friend stand and sit. Friend speak. Yeah, but what does he look like? Sorry, what does your friend look like? Friend look like friend. Yeah?
Like, are they a guy or girl? No pronouns.
Woke! Woke! Yeah, they have any kids? Or they got mom and dad? Or mom or a dad? Woke!
You said they.
You said they.
No, wait, no, you wouldn't say you. How do you even do that? How do you call someone out for saying they if you can't say you said they?
No say they. No say they. So fucking goofy. But yeah, the problem isn't that they don't. They just, you're right, they don't know what a pronoun is. They either didn't learn it or never had to use it since they were in 4th grade or whatever.
Dude, it was drilled into my brain because I like playing Mad Libs.
Like those little rules and stuff are taught. And I'll be honest with you, as a functional native speaker, you don't need to necessarily know the definition. You don't need to know what the difference between a verb and an adverb is. You don't need to know subject, what do they call it? Subject and predicate. Subject, object, predicate. Right? You don't need to know all of those things in order to speak fluently. And so that's why I think most people just kind of forget being taught about them, if they ever were.
Like I said, Mad Libs nailed that shit in my brain.
Well, you gotta know. Otherwise, you don't know what to add. The they is my favorite because everyone uses they in a singular way, but they always act as if that's utter nonsense. Yeah. The they thing is people asking you to expand its usage from colloquial, like from just like the singular side way to express somebody and make it the forefront of the pronoun. So they would like you to not refer to them as him or her, he or she. It's they or them, right?
I think people just overthink it, and that's why they make it think. It makes them think it's awkward. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. For somebody from my generation, it is awkward. I struggle with your sibling who's non-binary saying they when I'm, you know what I mean? I correct myself, though. Not, you know, and it's not to you, not even to them. It would be hard. Like, I would probably be way more mindful of it if they were around. But it's it's not that big of an ask for me. Like, it's one thing if it was just like, oh my God, I want to limit your entire vocabulary. You can't say this, that. There's a whole list. I would not. But like, it's a small ask. Like, I'm at a point in my life, maybe forever, where I don't really feel like I identify with male or female. Could you please just kind of give me a gender neutral? It's a small ask in the grand scheme of things, especially for somebody that you care about. I'm way more apt to care about that sort of thing when it's somebody that is a friend, a family member of mine or something. And I think it's way more appropriate to expect people to respect that when they know you versus just some Joe Blow in the street. Right? It's a different thing to me, right?
D, you're gonna have to go in for being a huff puff.
How do you feel about those who say grammar rules are pointless and stupid? Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, they're right. Right? Language is a constantly evolving thing, and it's constantly breaking its own rules colloquially, like especially the English language. But I think all languages make room for new expressions and new phrases and new uses.
Well, like, even people, like, misremembering a phrase could end up being the new phrase.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, have your cake and eat it too was eat your cake and have it too originally.
Right.
But people just kept misremembering it so long that...
Yeah. Now it's just completely changed as a turn of phrase, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, on one hand, I think that people that say that grammar is grammar rules are kind of utterly pointless. I could see the argument from the perspective of language being an evolving thing, right? But from the perspective of rules are stupid in the context of us having a conversation or communicating one-to-one, that's retarded. Like, grammar rules exist so that people can form functional sentences and be well understood. Like, that's why these kind of rules exist. Now, rules exist to be broken, stretched, changed, right? But saying
like,
they're pointless, kind of like, what would sentence structure be? How would you say I want to go to the store if we just ignored the rules of grammar?
Well, like, a lot of people that don't pay attention to it, it becomes harder to understand when they just, like, don't have subjects and objects in their sentence.
Yeah.
It's just like a little fragment, or it goes on and on.
Sentence fragments. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. One of the biggest symptoms of somebody that wasn't drilled on grammatical rules, sentence structure, spelling, etc., right, is either fragmentary sentences or run-on sentences. Sentences with no punctuation that go on for 2 paragraphs and have no transitional, or sentences that are incomplete because they don't have a predicate. Or they don't have an object. So yeah, they're necessary to keep a baseline of communication so that you're understood place to place. Like, I don't think, like, okay, if I were to really turn on a bunch of 50-cent college words, I could probably go around and talk in a way that people didn't understand but still be speaking perfect English. But on a general topic, I'm going to be understood here in Cali. I'm going to be understood in Canada. I'm going to be understood in Great Britain. I'm going to be anywhere where English is spoken. I'm going to be understood. I'm going to be misunderstood far less than somebody that has no conceptualization of grammar in their mind when they speak or type. Right?
Yeah. You guys in the chat, you don't have the privilege of your voice and your body language, so you gotta be clearer over
right.
text.
That's an absolutely good point. It's like, if you really were to examine the grammatical correctness of everything that I say, I probably use a lot of cheats and a lot of colloquialisms and a lot of workarounds and maybe even some just straight out incorrect grammar, right? That being said, the general rules are followed when I speak, and that's important to like being legible, to being understandable.
Yeah, like those little like uhs and likes and stuff. It makes more sense in speech. You can kind of tune them out.
Yeah.
But when you type it, it becomes a whole thing.
I hate it when oh man, when people type uhs and and it's like. It's like, dude, why are you brain farting in a sentence? I get it. Use of those words gives your mind a chance to catch up with the intent. That's the point of it. It's a stalling, thing. But yeah, let me think. What do you mean? It's just like, why are you
typing it out?
Yeah, why are you typing noises out? Why are you typing like filler noise? I don't get it. I think it's an attempt to make text conversation feel more conversational, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like it's maybe that's why people type like retards in text, because it's like, this is a stripped down form of communication, and it's like exaggerated in the way that it portrays conversational tics. Mm-hmm. Because it has to be, because you're not there, I guess, maybe. But it just doesn't work on me. I would rather you just speak clearly and concisely when you're texting me, and not put uhs and ums and ... and ellipses and all this shit. Just use, yeah. It's creepy when they use the stars. Oh, well, that's old, though. Putting stars around something and then saying, like, kisses you, holds your hand, that is old.
Well, that's, like, from, like, forums and, like...
chat rooms.
If you look at, like, old Reddit, you had to do that to, like, make something italic or make something bold. So.
Well, that's different. That's using it as a hypertext markup. Yeah. I'm talking about putting it in stars and saying cuddles you inside of it. Yeah. That used to be universal for, like, I want you to imagine I'm doing this to you. It's not something that people do anymore or all that often. Sometimes people will say hugs, right? Shortened version of the same thing. But that used to be super common
before emojis.
Before emojis. Yep. Well, the original, like the ASCII emojis. Yeah. So like the old style of emojis. Yeah. Those were used pretty early on, but not right away.
And it's not as clear as, like, having a little smiley face with a hug or whatever.
Right. Exactly. There's no visual component to it, so you're describing the visual or physical component. So, I can understand, like, why it would be creepy looking back, because there are so many other ways for you guys now to express those sorts of feelings in text. But, I know about this stuff because I was in a really, really early internet relationship where a lot of that relationship was carried out via text in chat rooms and instant messengers and stuff. Right?
You remember when the animated emojis first came out?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been big on emojis. Yeah. I like the functional ones. Like, the one that I use the most is the thumbs up. Mm-hmm. I send that all the time to the guys instead of going like, they'll be like, hey guys, is it cool if we meet at this time instead of this time? Instead of going like, yeah, dude, that's cool with me. I just put the thumbs up. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, everybody knows what that means. Yeah. So I like the functional ones, but using the emotion ones, I can tell by the way you're speaking, right? Typically, if you're mad, I don't need to see a mad guy, you know. Paul had e-hose. Well, I mean, I've told that story before. It's not exactly a braggadocious story. It's a little bit weird that it happened to me, but them's was the times. 29-year-old woman, and we were 14. Or I was 15 when we started talking. And we talked from 14 or 15 all the way through 18. So, and at one point, like, I was lying to her at the beginning, and at one point she found out I was underage and didn't care, and we continued. So.
There have always been creeps on the internet.
That's the weird thing about it, too. You know, not to get too into it or trauma dump or anything, because it really isn't all that traumatic for me as a memory. I'm not like, ooh. But I'm sure it was, like, not something that a kid my age should be engaged in with an adult. But I think about her, right, a lot. Not a lot, but when I think about this, I think about her. I do not think of her as a predator, right? It is hard for me to put that qualifier on her, even though, I mean,
well, like, just if you removed yourself, I think you would see it as a lot more predatory. That's the bias,
right?
You.
Experience bias or whatever. Yeah.
Just imagine if I said, "Oh, a 29-year-old guy is talking to your niece," then you'd be like,
"Oh, I'd fucking go kill him."
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you or an age range? I'm 44. I was born in 1980. So yeah, I don't know. It's just strange to me, you know. And I don't want to talk about this in the wrong way because I don't want to make it seem like I'm minimizing adults grooming underage people on the internet or whatever. But from my perspective, and maybe part of this is cultural, you know as well as I do that all the way through my childhood, only recently have people started calling out the, oh, hot teacher wanted to fuck a young boy, lucky him.
Well, one of the biggest drivers of the teen pregnancy epidemic that they were trying to tamp down by the time you got to school was older guys and girls in high school.
Sure, yeah.
So that relationship was more common than...
Well, but no, I'm talking about the bias towards it being like, if it's if an older female teacher, and in my case, an older woman, grooms a younger underage boy, the culture was like, lucky kid.
Well, I mean, that culture still exists to some degree.
Right.
Still.
But if you flipped the genders, if you made it a 29-year-old man and a 14-year-old girl, oh my fucking God. Right? And there's something about, I think, so let me ask you this, and once again, I'm not trying to minimize things. Do you think that the cultural reaction to these things happening affects how people remember it from a trauma perspective?
I think it could, but I think one of the nuances of it is an older person and a younger person that's like underage are going to have very different expectations.
Well,
so they're going
a lot of differences. Life experiential difference, interest difference. There's a whole gap, right?
I think the hurt feelings are more intense for the younger person because they don't have experience.
Well, yeah, emotion emotion is like a wild force that is tempered by experience.
Yeah.
And it is really like unleashed in its full magnitude on you during those teen years.
Yeah, like that's why there's a billion breakup songs that teenagers listen to.
Right. You're hot, then you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. That's why, you know, back in high school, and I remember it being this way, people would date for literal days. It would be like 2 days and then a breakup, and
And
then
it'd be like the end of the world.
yeah, and they're both crying,
Yeah.
and it's like it's 2 days. You guys were together. What the fuck, even, right? But so yeah, you're right about that. But that's more about like why is it morally wrong? I'm talking about the way I'm trying to look at it, and once again, my reaction to it could be completely different based on my makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like think back on that and go like trauma. I don't get um, negative feelings when I discuss it. I don't and it doesn't, like, the way that she was with me doesn't fit the bill in my mind of a predator.
Well, that could be just the defense mechanism that you built for your own self too.
Maybe. But maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm just wondering,
Because like there's, you know, think of all the people that defend spanking. There's so much like coping of like, I turned out just fine or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I think it might be like that kind
Well,
of
I was
logic.
doing that earlier. You weren't out here, but I was talking about how, like, for me, spanking in the spanking realm, like swatting a kid on the butt to get him to pay attention or stop acting up in public is different from taking your belt off and whipping a child. And, you know, I don't see a problem with the former. I see a problem with the latter. But that could be bias because I was hit as a kid like that. I was struck.
Like I said, I think there's like two different reactions to it. And
Right.
A defense mechanism can be to view it as almost a positive thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. I definitely for a long time looked at it as maybe not a positive thing. Well, yeah, at first when I was a teenager, it was a positive thing. Yeah. And like that's the fucked up thing about it is like at a certain point I started telling my friends about it. Mm-hmm. And all of them were jealous as fuck. You got a hot chick that sends you naked pictures, talks to you dirty on the phone and shit whenever you want. That's fucking awesome, bro. You know? And
like I said, like that reaction, I guess you could say, could have shaped your perception of it. And you're saying, like, if you'd gotten the opposite reaction, would that have shaped your perception of it the other way?
Right. If everybody had thrown a 5-alarm fire about it, which probably they should have, would I be sitting here talking about it as a piece of trauma from my past rather than just like a weird thing that happened to me? Mm-hmm. You know? That's the question. And once again, the question is not to minimize. I'm just wondering psychologically what the underpinning of that is when it comes to that sort of trauma. Because if I gender swap myself, I'm a 14-year-old girl. Number one, I think it's likely that would have been found out. My dad would have dug deeper into me talking about this person I'm talking to online or something if I was a girl. Right? And then it probably would have been stopped well before it went on for years. Mm-hmm. And if the reaction had been immediately like, we're suing this motherfucker, calling the cops, and I had to go through this whole fucking shit, my memory of the whole situation would be completely different, right? Like, I have to think. My psychological mechanisms would look at it as like a big trauma spot.
Well, I guess a related topic would be, like, with rape, the whole process of how hard it is to report it and retell it and testify and get evidence collected. That's a whole trauma on its own.
I mean, it is a whole trauma on its own. Yeah. Having been the victim of a violent crime that had to go testify, had to be in open court, that was it's almost as raw a memory for me as the crime. Mm-hmm. It was horrible. It was crazy, right? And it's its own trauma force in my life.
And do you think you could imagine, like, if you had to go through that with this chick, that would be trauma?
Well, yeah, if everybody in my life had immediately reacted with alarm and disdain for this person and the cops, and I had to do an interview with the cops, and then there's a fucking investigation, and I got to testify or be deposed, however they work it, all of that would have been something that I would have nothing but negative memories of. And I think it would have magnified if people had pointed out, she's fucking 29 and you're 15. What is she doing to me? And made it more apparent, like, you're being used, you're being taken advantage of by somebody that knows better than you, right? Had everybody in my life found out about it, reacted that way, I think I would have theoretically a more raw trauma response when I'm talking about it than I do now. It's uncomfortable to say, but a lot of male victims of female preds walk away thinking they achieved something. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, that's how I felt when I was young, and like for a long time after too. When I would tell people that story in my early 20s and shit. Oh, here's a crazy thing that happened to me. It was almost like, what a stud I was. I was 14 and I was able to get a fucking chick in her late 20s to do all this shit for me. What a stud.
Well, there's different kinds of self-esteem issues, I think, between boys and girls at that age. And I feel like maybe that fed your particular self-esteem issues.
Probably, yeah. That need to be accepted and desired by somebody and all of that. It's obviously magnified when you're a teenager and undergoing all that craziness.
That's another reason why it's problematic, is because a kid at that age is going to be way more receptive to even the slightest interest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like, when I think back on it, how it began, it was quick. It was like it went from flirting to what we called cyber sex to she's got my phone number now we're doing phone sex to, not long into it, we're going to meet. I'm going to take a vacation because she lived in Alaska, but she had family that lived in Cali. Supposedly. And it was going to be, she's going to come visit them. Surreptitiously, we're going to meet and fuck. And there were all kinds of little plans like that never came to fruition.
And that could be a manipulation tactic, too. Like
sure.
Dangling
the actual sex. Although, to be honest with you, it almost was more repellent to me. It took it out because one of the reasons why I think maybe the trauma isn't so hard for me is in my mind when I was young, I knew it was a fantasy. I didn't
you didn't feel like I'm going to marry this chick.
No, I had no compunctions about being in love with this chick. It was all lust for me. It was all just like, wow. I'm not saying I didn't care for her as a friend, because you can't talk with somebody. It wasn't always just that, right?
But you're saying that you had separated yourself from it as like, this isn't a real relationship.
During all of that, I was head over heels in love with Tammy. And like literally had all of that feeling for her. And this whole thing was just separate in my mind. It was
like you visiting the strip club.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like porn, right? But really cool interactive porn. Like, I don't know. And so I don't know how to how to contextualize all of that.
Yeah. Cold.
Huh?
Cold.
Am I?
Yeah.
No, I'm all right. I needed the jacket though.
Yeah. Come back, Dee. I thought you were gonna put socks on your hippie feet because they were cold.
Oh, no. Just wanted a little soda.
Yeah.
And another joint. I felt the call. Yeah. Don't tap the screen if you got the woke mind virus.
You think that's why you saw her as less predatory, because she wasn't selling you a fantasy of, like, we're gonna actually be together?
She did sell that.
She did? Okay.
She was more emotional in that way. It was almost like that radiated out of her, and I just kind of like went along with it as part of the fantasy, but it never connected up with me that I was going to go be with this woman.
So she was trying to manipulate you in
maybe
that way, but
yeah,
it just wasn't sticking.
Or maybe that was part of what she needed out of the relationship. Yeah. And in fact, I think that's what it was more than anything in the forebrain. Maybe it was manipulation in the subconscious, but her position was she had a husband who was in the military. She was a military wife, no job, lived on base, and was just craving her husband to want her to love her. It wasn't even like sexual. It was more like he didn't. Yeah, you got to go inside, bro.
Yeah, you're sniffing.
Go.
2 sniffs.
I don't trust you to not be out here eating cat turds off the fucking lawn right now.
Too interested. Sorry.
But yeah, no. Like, I think it was more of a, she needed that romance element. I had that already for somebody else. And so it never really developed in that way for me. I never really developed anything close to what I would call genuine, like, yeah, I might have had, like, feelings for her as a friend or maybe even beyond that. But, like, as far as, like, being in love, wanting to have that, that was her, not me, you know? Maybe they're finally fucking doing whatever work they need to do to hook them things up.
Yeah, they hooked up the other ones down there.
Did they?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's like,
not the ones right by there, but like the ones further down. You're going to the fucking store.
I see. Just got a body about a week ago.
We should go spy on them later. Take a walk and see what they're up to.
Over there? Yeah, that could just be, because you know they park trucks right there. That could just be somebody running their, like idling out their truck, and they've got the heater running real hard. But it sounds more like they've got like a compressor going, which means maybe they've got to break some concrete to hook it into the electrical grid or something. I don't know.
We've just had this ridiculous thing where they installed street lights like 4 months ago, but they still have stop signs and them turned off.
Yeah, the street lights are off. And, well, whatever. It's just fucking, we're just bitching about neighborhood shit. Everybody's got it. Yeah. Don't let any pussycats in your doghouse. Mama said that's what got my daddy locked up in the dog pound.
I think I'm just going to take a rake to this yard in the morning and see what's hiding in there that Dinah was so interested in.
He's just being a fucking turd about it. He's probably like hungry because he didn't eat breakfast this morning.
Oh, he did eventually.
Oh, did he? Yeah. He went in there and finally ate it.
Yeah, after Cricket was distracted by something, I tried putting it down one more time.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going down that fucking road with you, bro. I don't give a shit. There you go. Now, like, you probably wish you didn't ask now. What do you think about me doing this paragraph of shit I'm not gonna read? I don't care. There you go. Is that what you were looking for? Bro, send us the OnlyFans link. You don't get it, bro. That's an exclusive link. All right. Only high-end clientele get there. No brokies allowed. Sorry. It's a fin-dom situation. All right. And you just ain't got the fin. I've got all the dom, but you got no fin.
Oh, shit. I accidentally scrolled and there's like a tarot chick.
Yeah, there's lots of tarot chicks. Yeah, they're actually super popular right now. There's lots of tarot.
Feel like ripping out the deck and joining the tarot trend?
No.
No.
Because I would get no joy doing it online. I like working a person face to face. I can't do the online shit. It's just bullshitting. I mean, it's bullshitting anyway, but I like face to face bullshit. If you're gonna give me a line of bullshit, I'd rather be in your presence, you know. No, I'm not starting the cult yet. Trust me, those who need to know will be made aware when the day of reckoning comes and the children of the salt go into the woods to build the perfect society. You will know if you need to know.
The signs will be clear to those who are worthy.
Yes, and to those who are unworthy, sucks to be you, right?
Signs are not defined, but they will be recognized.
Yep. I took my Patek and then I dipped it in a fountain. Bust down, bust down, bust down, bust down, bust down, bitch, I'm drowning. I want to do that thing with TJ where I walk him through all the lingo and try. It's fun to have him try and guess.
Yeah.
Rap lingo.
If he picks a topic that was as annoying as the last topic of like pain, you should just do it to him. Like not let him start until
Yeah. Until I give him the fucking full street knowledge quiz.
Yeah. I mean the pain episode was fine, but like the topic you probably weren't like super excited to jump into.
Oh, that's a TJ episode for you. He feels like he wants to torture everybody. Yeah. TJ wants to paddle everybody's butt, so he does an episode about how awful something is.
You got him back that one time though.
With what?
With collarbones.
Oh, yeah, with collarbones.
We made it work.
Yeah.
We got half an episode out of it.
Yeah, we
made
did.
It work.
Yeah, we made it work. You should do happiness and just be as saccharine as possible. Yeah.
You kind of already did that with the happy fun time for monetize.
Well, that one
was more like satirical, I guess.
Yeah.
And the capybara episode was close to that. That was a pretty wholesome.
Oh, it was pretty wholesome. My mom asked me what ops means. What did you tell her, dude? You see an op, you kill an op. Ops are on site.
Do you ever have to correct your mom for using a slang incorrectly?
Oh my God, I'm sure I did, but you know, cringe gets put in a special bin where it just goes away.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that. Yeah, dude, I don't even know how I would explain ops to my mom.
I don't know. Maybe she's more hip with the lingo with all them grandkids.
Doubt.
Because
I don't think none of my fucking nieces or nephews are hip with the lingo.
Yeah.
They ain't. None of them are listening to none of that stuff. And maybe the eldest.
Yeah.
The eldest might know some lingo. Not rap lingo. Back in 2016, I remember explaining to my friend what cuck means. Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you've got to fucking bring somebody up to speed. And TJ's there, dude. He's definitely like, he's in danger of going into old man territory, like say what Sonny territory, dude. If he doesn't get with it and learn about dipping his patek in a fountain, he's not going to know what anybody's talking about in like 5 years.
It's because he's not touching the poop the same way you're touching the poop.
You have to touch the poop, exactly. You have to do it.
He's doing the little patron-insulated Abandoned Hope live streams. A lot of times he'll just drop something on Twitter and then walk away. He doesn't sit and argue about it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't tell Mama about Urban Dictionary. That was smart. But you explained it and she was excited to learn. Hey, good. The cool thing about explaining something like ops is that most people have ops. Like, most people have people where they don't want to bump into them in public. They got nothing kind to say to that person. The person probably got nothing kind to say to them. That's your op. Right? It's your opponent.
Dare I say you are more hip with the lingo than I am.
Oh, yeah? I think, I mean, I'm listening to more rap. Like, more like straight top 50 rap.
Yeah, I'm in my weird niche hyper pop.
You're listening to Ash Nico and, you know, the crazy hyper pop rap thing, which I like that stuff too. But I do know a lot of stuff. Like, look, dude, I'm 44. I got nothing here to look up. You guys give me a quiz. Quiz me. Throw out some lingo that you think a dude that's my age probably wouldn't know what it means. I probably do. Dude, I'm hip. Okay? I'm with it. I speak the hip street lingo of the kids. I do know the stuff, bro. I know all the stuff, dude. I know all of the little references and what things mean.
Your algorithm is a little bit more skibbity than mine too.
Probably. Yeah, dude. You are about to witness the strength of street knowledge. No, I know it all, man. I know all the lingos. I'm 10 years younger than you and more like TJ. Yeah. You got to be careful. I'm not saying you have to know as much as ever, like I do. But, like, I got to be honest with you. You need to reach the level where you can start puzzling out what this shit means. Because nobody explained to me what an op was. I just listened. And I was like, oh, it just means, you know, somebody that you want to catch in the streets because you hate them. Or somebody that's out to get you. Somebody that is an opponent of yours. Opposition. Yeah, dude, I put all my points into streetwise and music, and none of my points into strength, intelligence, wisdom. I put a lot in charisma, too. I ran the charisma up. Dexterity, though, we dropped those.
feel like I got just attached to some of the slang when I was a kid, and I sound outdated now. Like I say Gucci a lot, and that's hella outdated.
Dude, that will happen though.
Yeah.
That will happen. You will, and see, right now it's outdated Gucci, but it's not so outdated that you never hear it anymore.
Yeah.
But in 5-10 years, it's gonna date you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I've told this before. Paul's strength of street knowledge saved me. What? Saved you? From what? Saved me from New York City hustlers. My buddy who was with me, not so much. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. You gotta have the strength.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of, like, some of the super touristy areas because of that. Like the scam line you gotta walk past.
Yep.
New Orleans especially, it's like you just get assaulted with it on the French Quarter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The stench.
I meant like the scam artists is what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you meant the stench.
No.
No, the scam artists too. Yeah, no, they're everywhere. They're on every street corner. As a New Yorker, stay away from them people. Yeah, duh. Dude, I saw this video that was actually kind of funny. It was a Russian video, but it was like one of those candid videos, and they set up this kind of joke where it was one of those dudes that's handing out flyers as people walk by, like the dudes in New York. And he's doing that, and he has this guy who's in on it walk by and not take one. And he grabs the dude, and he's like, "You fucking take this, motherfucker." And he shoves it in his hand and roughs him up and sends him on his way, and then starts passing it out, and everybody that saw that shit just takes it. They just take one automatically. It was kind of funny. It only works if they saw you rough somebody up, but it was kind of a funny video. It warned me about the "this is free" street hustlers and how to walk past that. Yeah. Yeah. My buddy got hit with the, "Hey, this is free. Wait, where's my donation?" Yeah. You can't, you just don't take nothing that anybody hands you, bro. Like in New York, there is a way you have to walk that is oblivious, and they won't even try and hand it to you if you're doing it right. Like when we first got there, we reeked of tourists, and it didn't take us long to get, like, it's not like we were like New York natives, but we learned, like, when I say we, my dad and I, when I went to New York with them when I was a kid, we learned it quick. It was like, you know, be having a conversation with each other and just like be unaware of everybody around you, basically. That's how you work it. It was in 94. Yeah, 94, and we stayed the whole time near Times Square, which at that point was kind of a seedy place, you know? In 94, Times Square was not exactly what it is now. There's a lot of, like, porn clubs and stuff right off of the main, you know, Times Square area. It was a kind of a seedy area of town. All of New York was more seedy in the 90s, to be quite frank with you. You have to look through people when you walk in a big city. Yeah. It's not even looking through people. It's like just being unaware of people. And when you do it, it's almost like traffic on a freeway. It's like when you just go with the flow, you can walk really easily in New York. But if you're like trying to stop and look, people are going to be bumping into you and passing by, cussing at you and shit. Like, you got to walk with a purpose and walk like you know where the fuck you're going. And don't take anything anybody hands you. Just don't even look them in the eye. Don't even fucking take your hands out of the pockets of your jacket. Just keep walking, bro. York people were super friendly when I visited. That's new. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that like I found New York to be like insanely rude. It was just dismissive. You know, that's how I would say. They still slang CDs in Times Square. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Dude, I'm not even joking though, bro. I'm a sucker for the mixtape hustle every once in a blue moon, bro. Every once in a blue moon, I will buy a dude's mixtape. Because you gotta fucking, every once in a blue moon, dude, give him $5 for the goddamn mixtape. Give him $5 for the mixtape. I don't do it every time. You gotta be a good salesman. But if you're out there hustling, trying to get people to listen to your shit, trying to be like a musician or whatever, I will give you $5 for your mixtape sometimes. Depends. Right? I'm a bit of a sucker for the mixtape. But anything else, you know, I don't even see you. Well, a lot of the dudes will have a boombox there and they'll be playing their shit. And if I like how it sounds, yeah, I'll cop the mixtape. Yeah, first hit. Let me get that first hit for free. Get me on the comeback. I still find value in nude magazines and not just the articles. Good for you, bud. Don't have a CD player, though. Yeah, me neither, really. I mean, I have a... No, I don't. I was thinking my old computer... That ain't hooked up. My old computer has a CD, DVD, RW. So I could play it on that. Well, yeah, there's no way for me to play the mixtape anymore. Damn. That's harsh. I gotta get a Discman, bro. That's bullshit. The PS5 does not play CDs. I do have a PS4. The PS4 would play it, right? I was gonna ask if I could take them to you. Yeah, bro. I don't think I have any way to listen to them either, bro. I don't think I could do it. Paul, adjacent to the topic, do you think the rise of cashless, with the rise of the cashless trend, do you think a homeless population suffer because no opportunity to ask for cash? Yeah. I think homeless people are going to have to step their game up. They're going to have to get Cash App. They're going to have to be like, dude, touch tips. Please touch tips with me. Touch tips. Give me a little $5. Come on, man. Come on, man. Cash App me. Cash App me, please. That's what it's going to have to be, man. Can I get a Cash App, please? Y'all got any Cash App? I sure would be happy with a little bit of Cash App there, ma'am, if you got some Cash App. I've been on the road a long time. Could you Cash App me $5? Could you Cash App $5 for a homeless veteran, ma'am? I was in Vietnam. Those bastards took my ability to walk, but they didn't break my spirit. Could you just... Could you just slide me a Cash App? Could you do a little Apple Pay? They already do. You'll say, sorry, man, no cash. And he'll be like, no problem, homie. I've got Venmo and Cash App. I'll be like, I don't. I have neither of those installed on my phone. So I'll be like, man, we just at cross purposes here. I don't got no cash, but would be willing to give you some. You Only you accept Venmo and Cash App, but I don't do that. So shit, man. I guess we're at a standstill, homie. QR code homeless signs, yeah, dude. Scan this for my sob story, bro. Paul, the IRS is happy nowadays because income is recorded everywhere. I'm surprised the Fed hasn't banned cash yet. I mean, we may be moving towards that, dude. I don't know. I will tell you, like, my weakest point is economics, man. It's so math adjacent. You know, economics are just not my forte, man. Making sense of the arcane nature of how money flows through markets and stuff is really not for me. I wouldn't put myself up as a person that could even talk about that shit, bro. China has already done that. Basically, if your social credit falls too low, you can get your bank account frozen. Fuck. Man, that's fucking rough, dude. That social credit shit is anxiety inducing to think about, bro. Like, how? I don't want to fuck up. The world needs paper USD so it'll survive. Maybe. We'll see. Too much cash flows in from illegal South American markets to the government to ban cash. Yeah, you guys are basically saying the same shit. And I agree. To a certain extent, you make a good point. You know, there's a lot of dirt that's done with cash, and as long as that's the case, it'll probably exist, right? Anyway, I'm out of here. Good night.